Smis Ishbel Murray agus sé Luchd Ealain San Fha. Chai yn prosiect Luchd Ealain San Fha sich ysdeochach, gus tig sein corisachai colwch yn yw y fi'n at Luchd Ealain y ffyrwch Ealain ffader falaf yn fel y fôr agus cri yn tŵl Ealain. Cymar ha Luchd Ealain als na helan yn nier y jelige chrin y dwlich ydys yn sortje a ha y leib y fyr yn ymyl. Vryn sy'n fi cwtlian Luchd Ealain yn o pars y prosiect sio son ffain ymach.
So I actually grew up in Harris. It's only recently that I've returned here, but I've come home to the family croft. My work is semi-abstract and I don't work directly from the landscape. It's more about memory places or distilling an experience of being in a landscape. I've just had a solo exhibition which I've made here, so it's been quite an intensive burst of work, and all the practicalities around that in terms of getting work from A to B has come into focus quite a lot. I think one of the challenges is the geography, and in order to attend things, you have to plan around that, or go and see other artists. It's more like visits rather than casually seeing each other. I guess one of the kind of key things for me is about developing and maintaining networks that support you, your peer networks, but also those kind of wider networks. It's so important that there's support, strategic support, funding support, financial support for these things, because they don't happen otherwise.
So I've lived here my whole life. My mum and dad moved here when I was a baby. Art was my thing, so I went away to art school in Duncan and Jordanston. I had my son quite young, so then I came back because I wanted to focus on my own work. I think the challenges of being here are kind of having access to, for example, courses or space and facilities. There's lots of things you can go to on the mainland, a week's course, and you learn all of these skills, and there's much more collaboration within the people that are at the course, but there just isn't anything like that here. It's much more long and drawn out. I feel like there's an opportunity to do quite intensive learning and courses, and as a result you will get more out of that in terms of your relationships with the other artists as well. Working in a solitary way, you can be quite critical of your own work, and sometimes it's nice to have someone to come in, give you support, help you to evaluate what you're doing. That works for me anyway.
Chaim a hwgal yn San Oban, le tienglichen glw le colose is mwle farantanig mo farantan. Rhain mi Ealain, chaim i gwisgo Ealain Glasgow, is rhain mi sculpture, va mi lenten behe Ealain, vat ma behe, agus a tor Luchd Ealain nawn, agus sé coersnach sorig sin, chanil slúag úvsach mór awn, agus mar sin ha Corym yn awn a fain iolach na Luchd Ealain Eile, haw cwtiochag o chile, agus chreid mi gymbysin sin a tachart cholacher yn tîr môr far a fel torfarach dynne, agus had dynne figanate. Ha sin glasje yn Ealain leis an slúag. So it's sin andrut a siar gosig.
I didn't start off with any idea of being an artist, actually. The day I started painting, I was supposed to be going to watch Liverpool and Stoke, and it was postponed. My dad had some paints, and I borrowed them and did a painting of a couple of miners, because both my grandfathers were miners, and I did that, and then I just wanted to paint. Well, I came here, and we bought this house in November 90. I don't know where I got my confidence to paint, but I did. You can choose where you live, and you can choose what your subjects are, kind of thing. I didn't mind the idea of long-distance travel. I'm not bothered if I have contact or not with anybody, actually. Quite happy to do what I do, kind of thing, I don't mind isolation.
Well, I was born and brought up here. Spent about 10 years in Edinburgh, and then bought this house. I really like drawing outside, and part of it is just an excuse to watch the world go by. It's inconvenient being far away from galleries and also not having the opportunity to have that kind of artists' community by having a studio and a shared space. We're all very much on our own. Interacting with other artists always involves a lot of driving and a lot of travel, where if you're in a city, you can have a studio in a shared building and you've got that community of artists around you. Although you don't have that opportunity to be in a shared space, if you live somewhere like this, it kind of gives you personal space. In my opinion, it's a much better place to be an artist. It's just such an amazing environment and culture.
Before, I'd been working as a graphic designer, and well, I knew I had to give up my job there, but I didn't know what I was going to do. I decided January the 1st one year, I'm going to start drawing. I will do a drawing every day, fill my sketchbook. And I was just drawing things in the house, as you do. But by mid-February, I really had to get out. I knew I had to get out of this house and out into this lovely place out there and draw. So that's when I started. Living here, we are quite spread out and we are kind of isolated. In a way, it's a bit of a lonely thing to do, to be an artist. It would be so good to have more contact with other artists. It would be great to be able to see more exhibitions, but that takes time. It's not just the time it takes physically, it's the time it takes you to settle down when you come back from being away, and you really don't want anything getting in the way when you've got stuff to do here. It's good to spend time with other artists because they get it and they understand, and you don't have to say an awful lot, but they just get it.